All right. Well, welcome to this week's Director Dash. Ashley Graham, one star National Marketing Director, and I are going to be kind of leading you guys on a training today that I think you're going to take lots of notes on and hopefully take back to your teams. I think there's a lot of new ways, especially if you've been in this business for a little bit. You probably are like, okay, I need to meet new people. I need to broaden my network. How do I do that? And pretty much tonight, what we're going to do is train you on how to get outside of just the regular what you've been doing and meeting new people, forming new relationships, and hopefully meeting some new rock stars. But like I said, take this to your team, take lots of notes because there's a lot of ways that we're going to talk, especially just put this list together of all the things that I do. And I want to just, flood you guys with all kinds of different ways that you can meet new people and form new relationships. But we're going to start tonight with Ashley Graham. Like I said, she's going to kind of talk through cold market exposures and share with you guys what she does and what she's had other people on her team do to kind of get out in cold market. So take it away, Ashley.
So honestly, cold market is not nearly as hard as we think it is. Or it's so mental of being afraid. And I still get, sick to my stomach when I get ready to do it just because it's scary. But you just got to talk yourself out of the mindset and just do it. Again, the very worst case, they're just going to say no or look at you like you're crazy, and you just let it go and move on. It's not going to make or break your business ever, and let them think you're crazy if that's the case. So a few things that I wrote down that I thought were my best tips. One, of course, and you guys probably know a few of them or most of them, but always be listening when you're out. Like wherever you are, if you're in a line, if you're getting your nails done, if you're in a waiting room, if you're at a practice, a sporting event, anywhere you're at, always have your ears open. And even when you don't know someone and they trigger a word, again, God, I'm so tired, or I look like crap, like whatever it is that it's not like you're eavesdropping, but if they're in your radius and you can hear it, then don't be afraid to say something. I have done it so many times standing in line. I was at Macy's returning something. There was one other lady there and she was standing beside me. She was in the sales associate had to leave to go get her shoes or whatever it was. And so it was just she and I standing there, and she was talking about how tired she was that day, and I said, and I hope it doesn't sound rude, and I didn't say it rude, but I was like, your eyes do look really tired. And she was like, oh, like my life is just so busy. And I said, I totally have something that will work for you for eyes. If you're interested, I actually have a sample in my purse if you want it. And she's like, what is it? And I said, it's a product, called Nerium. And I explained it to her for like a hot 5 seconds. And she totally took it. I got her email, and after she sampled it, she bought it. So I'm like, it was so easy to do that. And I did not know her at all. I just listened to trigger words of what she says. So anything pertaining to any of our products, it's just that easy when you're, if you're willing to speak up. Speaking up totally pays off. So not being afraid to ask wherever you're at. And again, if it's at sporting, wherever you are, you don't have to think about anything because you're already at all the places. Again, if you're standing in a line, getting your nails done, if you're at kids practices, like the sporting events, waiting rooms, wherever you are, where there is people, just always have your ears open and be thinking about, subconsciously, there are people in this room, and somebody I could walk away with a cold market sample today. So examples of other ones that I've done. So my sample bags that I always have with me. I try to always at least have 2 in my purse. Just depends on how much junk is in my purse at the moment, but I always have 2. But it's real easy. I just do 1 eye serum, 1 hydrogel patch, and 3 youth factor powders. And that's just what's in my lineup with 3 of my business cards. So I won't say that it's not a risk sometimes, with what I'm getting ready to tell you with getting their information, because if you're kind of gifting it, you can't really ask them for their information, so you sort of just kind of have to play the risk game of hoping that they'll use it and return it. But if you're at places like, for instance, school, I am at school all the time for my kids. So for Halloween parties, Christmas parties, Teacher Appreciation Day, wherever it is, I'm always giving samples out there, and I know I'm going to go back. So, I didn't ask for Caroline, my 7-year-old's teacher's address, because I knew I was going to see her again. So I went back, I saw her again like a week later, and I was like, hey, how did you like those samples? She was like, oh my God, heaven, I love them. I'm like, awesome. And then I started talking to her more about it. So it's just finding, but then I've also done things like my vet. I mean, this is somebody, my dog got into an accident the night we got home from St. Louis. He was in the vet 9 times in a matter of weeks, just awful. He's fine, by the way, so he's alive. He's okay. But I was in there. So one of the last times that, and I know you have these scheduled appointments going back in of a place like that if there's a situation like that. So the second to last time when I knew I was going to go back in there, I gave all of those girls in that office hydrogel patches, iSerum, 3 things of Youth Factor, and thanked them for taking care of my dog. And I just thanked them. I'm like, I just want to give you guys a gift. You'll love it. I am so appreciative of how well you've treated my dog. I'm grateful. And then again, I knew I was going in there one more time to be able to say, what did you think about the samples I gave you? So I didn't have to get their information, but I do have times, again, Caroline's school, when I let her give 5 samples I let her pick 5 teachers. This was Teacher Appreciation Day. She picked her music teacher, her art teacher, the librarian, her homeroom teacher, and another one, music or something. And I knew I couldn't get the ones that I don't see and I don't even know. I knew I couldn't get their information. It was just a gamble of, at least I got it in their hands and they know how to reach me. So I'm willing to do that. I would rather have my product moving like that than it sitting here. So, I'm okay with if 2 called me back and 3 didn't. So, I didn't really care. Okay, so the sample bags. So then there was something else. Okay, so vets, schools, dentists. So I've been going to my dentist my entire life, like since I was 6 years old, and I've known this same group, same set of people I've known forever, and I was totally okay with talking, when they weren't in my mouth about what, they're like, how's it going? So I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys. And so every time I'm in there, I'm like, we just came out with 2 new products. You guys want to try it? And so I'm constantly giving them samples when I'm in there, and they're all my customers. And they actually, how I got them all at once was because there's 5 in the office. I asked to go in there and do a party for them and bring them lunch on their lunch break. So I took lunch to them on a Monday. I drug a TV in there, and I quickly, as they were eating, I did a very, very quick RRP. And that was actually when iSerum came out. So I put the iSerum on them. I took their before and after picture, but I just wham, bam, did it all right then and there. So I utilized my whole dentist office and got them all at that time. My doctor, anywhere, my photographer. So I know all of us are getting pictures done via Facebook. Like tons of us have gotten our pictures taken, or you're planning to do your family pictures. Talk to her. And again, thank her. Like I just thanked mine after she did mine in August of like, you know what? I love these pictures. Thank you. Just wanted to give you this, it said, it's just always thinking of who else can I reach out to that I haven't. Any interaction where you're having any interaction with anyone, don't hesitate. I mean, it can't hurt. So one thing that Damon said on at regionals that really stuck with me, and I actually found it really interesting, was he said he never deals with cold market, ever. He always turns his cold market into a warm market first, which I thought was interesting. And as I talked to him about it, he just said, just build the relationship. It's easy to turn cold market people into a warm market. Obviously, easiest way, Facebook friend everyone because they see your posts. That's how you can start it out. Just Facebook friend every person you come in contact with. Facebook them. It's so simple. And then obviously they see your post, start commenting on their posts, and start building that relationship. And before you know it, you have enough guts, I guess to say, to be able to reach out to them and ask them to sample. And Kim, I loved Kim's verbiage, and I can't remember where I saw it. It had to have been in Next Level, of her very easy, like, hey, I'm so sorry, I've never asked you to sample. I mean, like, I've never used such simple verbiage. I was like, that is genius, of just like reaching out on Facebook and saying, I'm so sorry, I've never asked you to sample. Would you like to? I mean, the worst case scenario, they're going to tell you no. Who cares? So, just building that cold market into a warm market if you're scared, if you really don't think you have enough guts in you to just speak up to a stranger. But again, I'm never gonna see these people again unless they're my customers. So I don't really care. I'm trying to think of anything else of places that I'm at, or I just think about like preschool pickup line. Anywhere. It's hard for me. I have to get out of the house on a daily basis to get exposures in if I don't have it written down. So I intentionally make myself go out somewhere. And again, if it's to Meijer, wherever, as long as there's people around, I will go into the beauty aisle and see what they're doing, what they're looking at, and start creating a conversation there. And again, it's not like rocket science of talking. I'm just like, what are you searching for? It's just talking. I love the lady at Regionals who said she literally stalks Kroger and she stays in Kroger 24/7. And that is how she gets all her customers. I think no brand partners. Who was there? Who else was there that last? Wendy. Yeah. Did she say it was customers or brand partners? A or B? You're on mute. B. But she spoke up, and like we were having sort of like a big discussion, and she spoke up and said she lives in Kroger like every day, and that is how she runs her business. And she's like, and it's working. And I'm like, that is so funny. Again, anywhere, just make yourself get out there. If you're a stay-at-home mom, or if you just don't get out very much, you just got to intentionally make yourself go out and just get it done. And then I try to do it first thing in the morning, like right when I drop my kids off. So that the rest is just a bonus if I get it done first thing in the morning. I feel like that's all I really got. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Ashley. Really good information. I was going through thinking about this training and I had a lot of that stuff. So I was marking it off. So awesome. So what I don't do cold market very well at all. The only cold market that I ever usually do is the restaurant servers. I always, like, if my husband and I are out to dinner, and especially if I want to write off something, I always kind of like make that my excuse, like, well, I have to write this off and I have to do it ethically. So I'm going to talk to the server, And so that's like as far as that I go with cold market. So I get it. But Ashley is right. Just getting out and meeting new people. So I meet new people a lot of different ways, but it's generally ways that the things that I like to do. So I was in billboard advertising sales for 10 years. And I'm very used to networking. Not that I like to do it, but it is very, it's a lot of just that business interaction with people. And it's something I'm very comfortable with. So I just continue to do it in this forum, in this job. So it's called BNI, and I think it's just Business Network International or something like that. It does cost money. Networking can cost money. You can do networking in the mornings before you go to work. You can do networkings at lunch. That's what I do majority of the time now. Or, when I was doing sales and billboard advertising, it was, a lot of networking at nighttime even. And you can find different groups online. The one, I go to a women's networking group, and it's all women. It's a lunch. Like I said, BNI. In the Indianapolis market, there's another there's a bunch of different networking group names that people come up with. So literally, if you just Google networking in wherever you live, you should find things that pop up. And really, it's just finding, the schedule to what you like to do. If it's after hour drinks, if it's lunchtime, if it's before, literally they have meetings at 7:00 in the morning before you even go into the office. So there are networking groups all over. There's a thing called Meetups. It's online, and probably about a year after I went full-time in Nerium, I found out about Meetups. And Meetups has like literally a ton of people meeting up. Okay. I'm talking from anywhere, women's group, Christian groups, bunco groups, networking groups, women after work, single groups. I mean, you name it, it is there. There's hundreds in like our little area. But I actually took it one step further, and I wanted to meet up with people, but I didn't have the certain times weren't available that I could literally do. So I actually started one. It's not expensive at all. That's actually a very cheap little way to do. If you meet up with people, it doesn't even cost. But if you start one, I think it was like $50. And it was just really for the forum that people would be able to see my site. And then we just met up at a restaurant. What was it? It was like 2 years ago that I did it. I can't even think what it was called. I think it was just called like Wine and Women Social or something. And at these meetups, now networking is more definitely business savvy, and you can definitely talk business, and it is not a big deal at all. I mean, you can talk Nerium all day long, and they can talk their business all day long. But Meetup is a little bit different. It is more, I did not sit there and vomit Nerium with these people. This was kind of just a social getting to know people, relationships. I mean, for me, just like Ashley said, I've never heard it put like that, like how Damon said it, but I don't go cold market. It does become my warm market because I have just formed these relationships over and over and over and over. And so much into these relationships, I don't speak about even Nerium. I add them on my Facebook. I let the tools do the talking, and before you know it, they're coming to me. But I continue to do those things that I'm seeing these people at. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not like a one and done type thing. And it's the same thing with our business too. You have to continuously even go to the trainings. I mean, it's the same concept. You got to continuously see these people to be able to have these connections and build. So meetups, hobbies and interests you have. So I have kiddos. I stay at home. So I do mommy groups. Thank God for mommy groups. I think I would lose my cool in life if I didn't have mommy groups. So it's definitely more of for my sanity. Again, these are things that I love to do. I love to meet new people. I love to have other moms to complain and gripe with. And then also, tell the good things too. But mommy groups have been huge for my business. I'll just be honest. And again, I don't ever speak about Nerium at all. I mean, I just let, Facebook do the talking, and I sample when they want to sample, and I build those relationships, and, it just really organically happens. Different things that you like to do, like crafts or working out. Even with working out, going at the same time, the same day, seeing the same people, forming those relationships. If you go to a church and you have like small groups or house church, doing those, getting involved, even getting involved with your neighbors. I don't know if you guys have, neighborhood socials or neighbors, like, do your neighbors know what you do? Some people even have neighborhood websites. If you guys have bigger neighborhoods, you actually even have that kind of stuff. Neighborhood Facebook groups. There is a thing called, and I just found out about this for about a year ago. It's called the Nextdoor app. And I don't know if you guys have heard of it yet, but it's actually really cool just for your own good, because it has some like crazy things that happens in your neighborhoods. And so like there was a break-in right down the street. Well, that was put on Nextdoor app. So I'm really glad I had that. But anyway, they put different things on there. And actually when I had a get together at my house, a party, I actually put it out there on Nextdoor app. And I was like, hey, it's for my neighborhood, Spyglass Falls. And I was just like, hey, having people over near him, if you're looking, if you're interested, whatever. They have different direct marketing people that do that. So that is actually definitely, I would put that out there too. I mean, even if you live in a certain area, maybe you don't even live in a neighborhood, but you might live in a certain area, I would do that. Vendor events. So actually my last brand partner that I just recruited a couple days ago was a vendor event gal. And what's been funny about vendor events, even if you like look on locally, you can find them. Some of them cost, some of them don't. But with vendor events, it is not about the day of the event that makes that successful. And that is something that you definitely have to learn. And I learned it over time. I would go to different vendor events in the first couple of years with Nerium. And if I didn't sell inventory, I was upset with the results. I was like, this did not work. This was a flop. I spent $150. I didn't make my money back. Are you kidding me? And it is not about that. It is about forming those relationships big time with those vendors that are at the other tables, like the other people that are selling. And it is actually just forming those relationships, getting their contact information, and like having one-on-one. It takes time, but it's other ways that you can meet people. So the lady that I just brought on, she was an insurance gal at the booth right beside me. And we had an awesome friendship from the beginning, and before you know it, she needs money. She's just getting divorced, and it ends up being that way. Another girl I recruited over the summer, she came from a vendor event, but I actually knew her from a networking event. We hadn't seen each other in a year or two. We see each other at the vendor event, and she's like, oh my gosh, I just saw you were on stage at a conference. She's like, I think I need to get in this, So it's all about timing, all about those friendships, those relationships, and not just shoving Nerium down on their face, but just kind of letting it happen organically. So I kind of went through a lot of like how literally these are true examples of people that I have recruited in different situations that happen. Like over the summer, I had a church group come to my house, and this gal and I start talking. She did lip sync at the end of the group when everybody left. And I was like, oh my gosh, start talking. And before you know it, I'm talking about Hong Kong. And she's like, I used to live in Hong Kong. I'm like, are you kidding me? She ends up introducing me to a makeup artist over in Hong Kong. I ended up recruiting her. She didn't end up doing anything, but still, these are like real examples of just meeting people and asking and getting to know these people and their relationships and what they do. And, I recruited someone, believe it or not, when I first started at a social media site. Okay. And I don't know if you guys have tapped into this at all, but these are like different Facebook groups that you can be added into that are just from different hobbies and things that you have in your life. Like we have a big mommy forum in Indianapolis, and I posted on this forum. I mean, there's thousands of people on this forum. I mean, Ashley, you're probably on it, Indie Moms. And it's huge. And I posted on there one day something like, I have a way you can make some money for Christmas. I mean, it was so simple. It was so easy. If you want to know, comment below. And I had all these comments, and I ended up recruiting a girl from that. Didn't even know her, but ended up, she needed money, and we met for a one-on-one, started talking more, getting to know each other. And before you know it, she went into business. Sports that your kids might have, you can join groups on social media from that. My daughter was just in a cast. I joined a big forum for that, and I'm literally getting to know women that have the same situation that I have going on, and we use each other just as like a resource, but at the same time I'm building those relationships. And of course I add them all on Facebook. Kind of what Ashley was saying, who do you do business with? So think of all of these people you do business with, and it's kind of the memory jogger if you think about it. But my husband, he recruited our dentist. I mean, seriously, he's getting his teeth cleaned. I don't even know how he was talking. And, he gets his dentist into the business. my girlfriend Kim Maines, I brought her. I got my girlfriend from college, and she joined my team like 2 weeks into the business, and she was wearing braces last year. And she, orthodontist is very, very expensive. She spent tons of money in his office. So Kim doesn't care about cold marketing exposure at all. And if you know Kim, she's really, really funny and people just instantly love her. So she has that personality to do that. I do not, but she is really funny. She almost just kind of puts it out there like, you're going to do it. And then people laugh and then they end up doing it. But she goes, yeah, I'm spending a lot of money at this place. I think you need to get all of your coworkers these holiday gift sets. And what did he do? He straight up bought all of his employees these holiday gift sets. So different things like that, just like who do you do business with? Because if you're spending money with them, then they're probably going to spend money with you. Babysitters, cleaning services, lawn care. I mean, everyone that you can think of in that regards. Ashley, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I remember that from last year with Kim. That was a $1,200 order last year that I remember when she told us $1,200 her dentist spent.
I know.
I mean, it was crazy.
So yeah, start thinking of who you put a lot of money into. I mean, your hairstylist, whatever. And then, what I did also, this was really at the beginning, and I need to do it again. Actually, like brainstorming all this stuff really got me like, okay, I need to do that again. But my local Chase Bank that I go to the bank to all the time. I started a relationship with this manager. We just start talking, whatever. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I come in here? Kind of what Ashley did with her dentist. Do you mind if I come in here at the beginning of the day? Their office opens at 9 and bring you guys some donuts and talk to you a little bit about Nerium. And what's he going to say? I'm bringing business into him. He can't say no. I hate to say it. They're like, sure. So here I go. I mean, nothing came out of that, but that's just another way. And I would have, honestly, this was like really early in my Nerium journey. So I am going to do that again because I should have added every single person on Facebook from that little shindig at Chase Bank, and I didn't. But why don't we go into places that we do business with and say, hey, we'll bring some donuts, we'll bring some lunch, or something cheap, and kind of like what pharmaceutical sales reps do. I mean, literally, people are doing this. The sales reps are going out and doing this. But what, Ashley?
My bank actually lets you sign up to have a table in their
office
area for an entire month. So I sign up like every slot I can, and I go set a whole table up, and I do a drawing, and they do that every single month. So ask.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really the 20 seconds of courage, it can't, and especially for people that you're spending money with, I mean, kind of have that attitude. Like, hey, have you ever, love to share my mom, this is what my mom says. She's like, whenever she cashes out at a, wherever, Dillard's, or I can't even think of a retail shop, any retail shop. Okay. She's like, well, I would love to, I've shopped at your store. I would love to share my business. You shared your business. I want to share my business. I mean, and that's just maybe an easy go-to. But with our challenge this week to close up, we would love for you guys, and it's honestly something you need to take down to your team and funnel all of this information down to them on getting out and doing new things, because we have been in this business. Some of you guys have been in this business for a couple years now. And I'm in the same way. I cannot sit in my house and not meet new people. I have to always, everyone that I'm bringing into this business from here on out, more than likely are new people that I've met. My warm market, either they might come back, and say, yeah, I'm now interested, but more times than not, it's new people. So how are you meeting new people? And take one of these things that we said tonight and look online, see if there's any networking groups, get out, 20 seconds of courage and talk to your server. Maybe 1 to 3, make a goal, 1 to 3 cold market exposures this week. I'm going to try it too. I really don't want to, but I'm going to.
Another thing for holidays between now and obviously Christmas is, if you do know, because I'm guarantee every one of us on here knows at least 1 to 2, if not 5 people that do another direct sales. And I know you see it floating on Facebook, but do like a holiday bazaar with them. I mean, like trust them that they'll bring their people, because I've had it both ways where I brought a ton of my customers to one of those and they brought no one. So they all got business and I didn't, and I was pissed, honestly. But I also have ones that I've chose that I knew would actually, hustle and get her people there too. And it was a perfect swap. And also I just love that those people, I mean, some are Lipsense, some are other Monet, I mean, whatever. But some of them saw how interested their customers were in Nerium, and they actually have contemplated to switch businesses. Like that they weren't in love with their direct sales company, or if I could get them to look at the comp plan.
What happened?
Yeah, so do an event. Like if you think, write down your friends that have another business and ask them to throw together like a little holiday party, a wine, everybody bring a bottle of wine, like wine tasting, and like whatever you want to call it. But this is a good time of year to be able to do that.
Right. Cool, guys. Well, challenge for the week: find some new groups that you might want to do, find some new ways to meet new people, cold market exposure, and share with your team and get out there, girls. I'm going to too. Bye. Let's see if